He getting it. We gonna get it in.
Nope.
Hey, there he go. There he goes.
What?
Live and direct in the building.
Yeah.
We have North Star on. That's right, the Christ bearer up in the building. What's good, family? How you doing?
What's happening?
Peace to the God, peace to the Queen.
Peace, knowledge. What's the science, great mind?
I'm just, handling my business, you know what I'm saying? Making it happen and keeping it cracking,
Making it happen, keeping it cracking.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's well, let's get this thing cracking lacking. All right. So once again, we have North Star on in the building, the Christ bearer.
Yes.
So we want to start from the essence. How did you get involved with music? Your love for hip hop. Before we even start with the W, how did you start your love for hip hop in general?
Energy, you know what I'm saying? Energy, which is the essence of all that is immaterial. You know what I'm saying? Energy, you know what I'm saying? That's how I got started. You know what I'm saying? Life, you know what I'm saying? Which is energy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got started. You know what I'm saying? With it. Just I went through some things and then got in trouble with the law. And then I was gonna do some time. And then I turned to the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I turned to Christianity real heavy. And then from there I met this brother named Malachi from Chicago, and he taught me and Miko knowledge of self. And then somewhere in the Theology of Time, I read that Elijah Muhammad said that the rappers are going to be able to reach far more than the ministers will ever be able to reach. And then I was like, dang, there it is.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, how did you become a part of that famous Wu-Tang clan, that swarm, that beehive?
Me and Miko was down with the Death Row camp, believe it or not. We was gonna be signed with Death Row Records, you know what I mean? Whatever you call it. We was gonna be under LT. LT was our producer. So we was in the studio with Tupac, Snoop, every day, because Dr. Dre had left when we came on. You know what I'm saying? So we was gonna sign with an LT, then Tupac got killed. You know what I'm saying? And Tupac got killed, and then it was just one of them situations that we was waiting around. No disrespect to Tupac, you know what I mean? But I had to tell LT, you know what I mean? God care more about the living than he do the dead. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to that man, but I gotta, you know what I mean, live my journey. So if you ain't gonna do nothing with us, can we move along? And he was very respectful and appreciated, I was real with him. And so he sent us to Party Records. And when we went to Party Records, we ran into RZA. And then we ran into RZA. He was like, yo, what's up with y'all? We was like, yo, we chilling. He was like, what's your name? We approached him first, of course. He was like, yo, RZA, the God. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, we in here with RZA and shit. He was like, yo, what's your name? He was like, North Star. And he's like, oh, that's a powerful name. It's a powerful name. So y'all here to get checked out, right? He's like, yeah, for sure. He said, man, wish y'all success in the world, you brothers. And just went down the elevator. And we looked at each other like, damn, we should just go down. What the fuck we doing in here? We was like, we had came here. We had LT was hooking us with his man. T Smooth was a dude, professional football player that retired. Had a spot. LT went to college with him or something. He was he had a son at Party Records. So we went in the office, had a meet with T Smooth. It went off smooth. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, you remind me of somebody. You remind me of like MC Milk. He was telling me, you know what I mean? Or I think, Milk D or something. I was like, and he was pumped. He said, I'm going to do something with y'all. He said, if I don't do something with y'all here, I'm going to do something with y'all. He was a mover and a shaker. You know what I'm saying? He was like East Coast dude out in the West Coast doing his thing. And then, we went back to the house. He said, give me like a week. We went back to the house. We called him. And then a week, we didn't really hear enough from him. And then about a week later, we like, yo, he like, hold on again. But then the third week we called, they like, T Smooth got fired. He here no more. We like, God damn. Then, you know what I'm saying? Then that was that. So we went back to square one doing our thing. we ran into this lawyer. That we got signed with this lawyer and shit. With this lawyer, you know, he believed in us and shit. So he signed us, you know, and he didn't sign us actually. He gave us some money, and I said I ain't gonna sign. So thankfully, so with that being said, he was trying to get us to go with Outkast because he was the lawyer for the Dungeon family at the time. And then so you know, we was, you know, trying to get with them, like he was trying to get us with them actually. And then I don't know what was going on with that or whatnot, but Miko had it was a show. Wu-Tang was performing. Like it's like a year later from we met RZA. So Wu-Tang was performing at Unity, I think it was called. And so now I was with this little chick at the house and everything. And then Miko says, "Let's go to the show. RZA and Killer Army, them gonna be there." And I was like, man, yeah, you know what? And I've been wanting to get her for a long time. So I'm like, yeah. When you go up there, you see RZA, tell her, remember the North Star, get at him and get his number. You know, I'm, you know, hit Miko with, you know, the huddle. You know, he like, yeah, boom. So, you know, he went, did his thing. Son came back, you know, very, very proficient kids. You know what I mean? And it's you know, Doties, because he came back, had RZA's number. It was popping. And I heard the whole story. He got pulled on stage, whatnot. So to make a long story short, we went to who was gonna call RZA. We really couldn't get him on the phone. And it was back in them days, you know. It was not a 92.3 The Beat. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
But it was back in them days. It was back in them days. When you wanted a record deal, you got a record deal. It wasn't about talking about it. You did what you did to get a record deal. You know what I'm saying? You know, the youth, yeah, they don't understand that type of organic interaction. But I mean, it's you know, it still goes on, you know, on the internet level. So those who know. You know what I'm saying? When you want to make it happen, you make it happen. There's no excuses. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those. He was about the 92.3 beat. By that time, I seen Miko get the number, and I knew he you know, RZA a real dude, you know, because he remember us and whatnot. Let's go up to the radio station. So we went to the radio station, and we was up there, and a couple of the homies from the hood was up there. We called him on the phone, called the radio station. Anybody call to the radio station want to talk to RZA? We called up there. So we calling, then I thought, like, let me call. And I called. Somehow I got through. I'm like, boom. Yo, peace, God. He like, yo, peace. I'm like, yo, man, it's North Star, you know. He's like, oh, word? Yeah. Y'all downstairs? We downstairs right now. Y'all got trees? Yeah, we got trees. So he came down. When he came down, Capadonna came down first and shit. You know what I'm saying? Capadonna, you know, it's my brother, you know, the guy, you know, cocky and shit. He like, yeah.
Shout out
so
Capadonna.
Like, yeah. And then Killer Army came down and shit, you know. Brother Nine, my brother, he came down, humble dude, like introduced himself. And then we had some beats, and we put the beats on, and the brother opened up the van and shit. The other Killer Army members came down, and we freestyling with the beats and shit and everything. The RZA came down, and RZA like, yeah, we brushed our tape. Yo, listen to our demo. It was us and the Black Knights at the time. We wasn't a group at the time. We was, you know, we lived together, and we did, you know, our trap house thing together, but we wasn't a group like that. You know what I'm saying? But we said we was gonna be like Wu-Tang. So we both had demos like, yo, RZA. He said, yo, man, I don't want to hear y'all with nobody beats. I'm going to put my beats on. So he put his beats on. And when he put his beats on, he said, yo, then you know, Killer Army niggas start coming for us. And Capadonna and them start, yo, whoop-de-whoop. And male groupies stay outside the hotel waiting type of trying to, you know, this niggas. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, I'm so hungry. He was like, what? You know, I just ate them up. It's like, man, I didn't even say disrespect to the things I was saying, but it was like, it meant, you know, Holocaust is there. You know, people know about Holocaust.
Oh, Holocaust is a beast.
You know, he was murderous. Crisis came, and man, it was one of them things. We was like, they knew it. They was like, RZA was like, yo, y'all ready to be killer bees? We like, hell, motherfucker, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, he gave us his number. Then it was like, you know, it was popping. You know what I'm saying? And then we went back to the hood. You know, we was in contact with him. He said he was gonna be in for the Super Bowl. And yeah, then you know, shit started going out in the hood. You know, shit was crazy. You know, because you know, people come to the house every day. We already had a trap house. Some went to raid and shit. And something happened. These guys to a shootout. The house got shot up. You know, it was double back what it was, but we had to get up out of it immediately. So we moved to Oakwoods in Hollywood. And then from there we then we was, you know, hanging out with the niggas real deep like that. And I'm not gonna hold you up any longer, but we got signed about maybe a month after that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. We are live and direct.
Live and direct in the building.
In the building.
Woo Wednesday. North Star Christ Bearer.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Salute to all my lovelies that's tapped in on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Live Wire Radio Show and So Serious TV is
Woo Wednesday.
Yo, make sure you get that Polaris album. It's in stores right now, all major digital platforms. Also, North Star Cuts. That's at northstarwool.shop.
Okay.
www.northstarwool.shop. You know what I'm saying?
Tell us about what's on that Polaris album. Who's on that?
That Polaris album is a bunch of cuts, really, that I would say majority that was in the vault, but you know, like right after I got out the hospital, you know, for a tragic incident I went through. But it was right, you know, a couple of those right there, and it was my brother Shaka, from London. I know you're familiar with Shaka from London. You know what I'm saying? And they was in the vault, and we added about 3 more cuts of just some new, like more up to date. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kept it, you know, flossy and bossy like that.
That's
but as it goes on, it's gonna be more, you know, what's going on, because I got a couple albums going on, but I'm always gonna keep some cutting edge shit that I've been holding on back, you know, creations, because, you know, it's been a minute since I've really been out, like I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out here again, like I am now. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we're dropping one every month. I plan on, and I'm dropping one this one called North Star Radio. And with that being said, for y'all too, I want to get an album for any Wu-Tang fans that really, or just fans, any musical people that want to, you know, put a tape. They ain't really like making no big money off of it. Blow up, we all blow up.
Yeah,
but you know, whoever you, a rock and roll artist, you sing, you know what I'm saying? You do jazz, you whatever, you rap, you whatever. You like submit a song. It's gonna be a concept I got. It's called North Star Radio. You know what I'm saying? Me and Miko got, and we're gonna drop an album, and you know, hopefully, you know, we shed some light on some stars that need some light.
That's the title of like the radio or what you putting out is called North Star Radio, or are you just gonna have like a radio get down that, you know, you want to display artists? Like I'm kind of confused on that one. Which one is?
It's gonna be called North Star Radio, but it's gonna be like a combination of both. It's gonna be set up like a radio show, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna definitely have some potent, you know what I'm saying, sincere artists.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're gonna showcase independent artists.
That way.
What she said.
That part. That's what's up. Okay, so independent artists out there, if you want to get down with North Star Radio, where can they, you know, get at you?
If they want to get at me, they could definitely hit me up on social media, on Instagram. I'm Christ Bearer Wu. On Instagram, Christ Bearer Wu 2, Twitter, Christ Bearer, Facegram, you know what I'm saying? Or my email at ChristBearerA@gmail.com.
Okay.
Now I gotta ask you a question, man, for all the authentic writers, which you are one of them. With all the albums underneath your belt and you'll continue to keep dropping these projects, what inspires you to keep going in this hip hop world?
I say my spiritual father, you know what I'm saying? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what keeps me going. Because it's just things that I've always wanted to do that you know, that were great. And then I read books, and he, as great as he was, he always said, man, you could be greater than me. You know what I'm saying? And I love that aspect of him, just the fearlessness of who he was. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, one time when Malcolm X had died, got assassinated, and then all the reporters were all around him and everything, and they were like, yo, they were talking, and you could barely hear people talking. And then somebody said, yo, Elijah, are you fear that Malcolm's dead? You didn't fear you get assassinated? He was like, with the quickness, look like, no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, in his eyes, I just love that black man had that power. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I believed him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's what's up.
yo, and then I come to find out that he is I and I am him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For real.
That's what's up. Okay. So what's your message? We leaving the 2020 in what, a month and a half now? What's your message to the people at the end of 2020?
Yeah, my message to the people is, you know, Plato, you know, a lot of people, we talk about Plato in schools, a philosopher, and he taught, you know, of the incorporeal world. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, I'm teaching the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that the like anthropomorphism. You know what I'm saying? That God can be man. God is man. Only man can be God. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm teaching. That, you know what I'm saying? That's what Christ bearer mean. You know what I'm saying? You have to be God. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you'll survive, if you govern yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching, and you know, God's man and man is God. God is man. God is man and man is God.
God is man and man is God. That's what's
That's
up.
powerful.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Wu Wednesday.
Wu Wednesday.
North Star.
Yeah.
Christ bearer in the building right now.
DJ Livewires.
Ray Jackson.
We in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time. That Polaris, like I said, that Polaris is available right now. You can pick it up any major digital platform. Also, that North Star Cuts is out there, and that's at northstarwool.shop. Also, you got North Star Radio. That's you can submit some songs. Anybody you sing, R&B, jazz, whatever, punk rock. That's what we're doing right now. And also, we got the Black Knights of the North Star debut album. Hold on. This is over 20 years. Debut album. As strange as it sounds, it's stranger than it'll get stranger. But that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? We're born. Wu-Tang, the unpredictable. And that's what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Black Knights of the North Star. Look out for that. December. That's dropping December.
West Coast Killer B.
What? I was just gonna say that. You know,
West Coast Killer B on the swarm.
That's what's up. Who do you want to work with that you haven't already? Okay. Who would you like to work with that you haven't already? Worldwide. Alive.
I would say Ice Cube.
Okay. Shout out to Cube.
And why did you pick Ice Cube? Can you collaborate on that?
Because, to be honest with you, it's like, all praise to Almighty God, Allah, King, the person, Master for Muhammad, for his last servant and most exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But with that being said, Cube is the one who really made me acceptable to Islam like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was Cube, like on the Death Certificate, I think it was album. He was like really kicking, you know, that horny little devil. You can't bust a nut, horny little devil. That album right there, he was like, burn Hollywood, burn. That one, it's like I didn't get Public Enemy till I got Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I didn't get the Nation of Islam, and you know, I didn't get, you know what I'm saying? Until I got.
It took steps.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes you got to crawl before you can walk. On that knowledge, you know what I mean? You really have to understand and study a couple of times, really just before you can really and self-conceptualize it. So I get it. I couldn't get Wu-Tang until I got West Coast rap. You know what I mean? Then I had to.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wait, that's deep. Let me look into it a little bit more and listen a little bit more, and then I just fell in love with it. So here I am.
Yeah, Christ. So, do you have any information or any you know, anything you want your fans to know out there?
I want to know that North Star is definitely moving. You know what I'm saying? We dropping something every month. You know what I mean? We might not hit your head too hard. We might take our foot off your neck a little bit. Might miss a month. You know what I'm saying? But that'd be the most, if that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we doing. And, you know, we just out here, you know, anybody want to do interviews, I'm with that also. You know, you got a little publication, whatever. If you're really with the hip hop, I'm doing that too also. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just back out here. That's what I want to know. Christ bearer is back out here for real.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Now, these albums that's being released, what label are they being released under?
To be honest with you, we just independently North Star Records. That's me and Miko's label from way back in the day. We kind of, picked it up and dusted it off again, called North Star. But with that being said, Black Knights of the North Star is something that we talking to Divine right now. RZA brother Divine right now. He, we dealing with Sony. He was like saying something like that, but we gonna see. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even put nobody out there like that because I'm just talk to the man once and we built on it. So we're gonna see. You know what I mean? It might just be Wu-Tang.
Yeah, that's
whatever.
peace. That's peace. I was playing a little video clip of the RZA shouting "Yeah out" and everything like that, and it was huge to me because unlike the other Wu members, when he mentioned Ja as being words marksmiths. You know what I'm saying? Legal with the vocabulary, and not only did y'all come through the ranks of the Wu-Tang, but y'all also brought other individuals into your own fold and taught them how to lay it down properly with the Wu-Tang slang.
Yeah.
So I want to salute you on that because not everybody got that stamp of approval. Even though they did get a stamp and they all Wu-Tang, I couldn't find an audio like y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was real, real big right there and an honor, man. To be some masters and to be recognized and put out there like that you can actually go to these teachers and you can learn some good techniques with that vocabulary and how to spit it and lay it down when it comes to this hip-hop format type thing.
Oh, praise due.
What's the 5-year goal?
Pardon me?
The 5-year goal.
Hold on 1 second. What you say now?
What is your 5-year goal?
5-year goal is to definitely own, at least, 1,000 acres, you know what I'm saying? And be able to buy, the Lambo cash, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm definitely going to do 5 years. And just, have a real anthropological, like a, what's I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Be like a just to really bring back the ancient way of Black living. You know what I'm saying? To have it to a way where our Caucasian brothers and sisters are real cool with it because that's how it was in the beginning. It was a time when everybody understood that the spirit which is Allah, or energy chose to close itself in the Black man and woman. That's the perfect conductor. He founded the perfect conductor. And science also proves that this is the case. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my goal, to really have, us to be back in total rule again. And when I say that, I don't mean the people to be scared, be, shook up. I just want people to be prepared and be ready for how awesome, not how awesome Black people really are, but how awesome the human being really is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying? To choose itself to be this Asiatic, carbon man like this with all this melanin, it was a genius decision. You know what I'm saying? And when you look in the sky and you see the miraculous, things that we've done that surpass anything that's done in the history, and you'll start to see we could have crushed, a long time ago, but Allah is so just and merciful, so that's my goal for 5 years, to really have Allah rule.
Okay. So how do you think, what platform are you going to use to deliver those teachings? Are you going to do like within your music, or are you thinking about like a television or like a class series or? What do you think? I know you just like kind of brainstorm this idea, but I'm just trying to, you know.
I mean, it's a lifelong plan, for lack of a better phrase. You know, and so be it not a diabolical one, I'm not ashamed to expose it, and that's just, you know, raising, you know, the collective consciousness of all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of all of mankind in itself. Like, you know, I name myself Christ bearer for a reason. A lot of people know what happened to me. They be like, oh my God, I see what happened to you. That's what happened to that boy. For that reason. But it's like, you know, stuff happens to you in the universe. It happens for you. You know what I'm saying? For real. Not to you, it's for you. So what I'm doing, I knew something I had to sacrifice something. I knew the job was dangerous when I took it. But, you know, people got to understand that, you know, spirit is man, basically. Matter is woman. You know what I'm saying? As harsh as that may sound, that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying people got to go do what I did at all, because you shouldn't. You should create. You know what I'm saying? But I got 3 babies. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I had to do what I had to do, because I know it might sound crazy to somebody else, but I know when Moses first circumcised himself, they said that nigga's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just as me or worse. You know what I'm saying? But look at him now. You know what I mean? The first of many prophets. So I know what I'm doing is building for a new universe. So everything I really can't reveal to you right now. Long show. You have me back. What I'm doing is building. I'm building a new universe. A lot of people think this is the only universe we ever had. It's like, no, this is not. This is not the only world. Matter of fact, this world that we're standing on, you should be an electron. You know what I'm saying? So people are like, but you know, it's just a thought. Think about the thought and let it take you somewhere. Because the reality is that everything is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying at the beginning of this thing, energy is just the immaterial, the essence of all material. You know what I'm saying? So that's just facts. Scientifically proven.
Is there something that happened in the shift of Christianity when you were in Christianity that kind of brought about the shift from you following the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Like, you know, sometimes there's things that take place in somebody's life that says, you know, this might not be, you know, for me, but you know what I mean? Just coming into the knowledge of self, you kind of go, you know, you listen to the teachings. So is there something in your path that, you know, persuaded you to follow the teachings? That's a deep question. I know.
like a certain incident you talking about?
Well, yeah, or an incident, or just, you know, a state of consciousness, or, you know, because sometimes when you're in Christianity, some people just stay there and they follow those teachings. So, you know, it becomes rooted into them, those teachings. And, you know, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are, most Christians think are a little radical. You know what I mean? But usually there's something in between there that's a shift for especially the Black man that, you know, makes you follow that.
I think if you want to go to that, you know, connected with the teachings, which is also a connection there, I did immediately go to church. This is what I did. When a brother came and he came with the lessons, it's like, I'm from the east side of Long Beach, and, you know, no disrespect to the north, but them brothers from the north, and they were from different parts, you know, of Compton, whatever. But the part Long Beach I'm from is like really rough. So with that being said, you know, when he came to the door, they was all ducking down and everything like that. And I'm like, what y'all ducking for, man? Like, I'm telling you, I ain't hanging with no niggas gonna be ducking and shit. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't go answer the door, Dre. So, and then when I seen him, he was like, he like Jehovah's Witness. And I said, oh, okay, I see why y'all ducking, but I need to know anyway. So I opened the door and I found out what was wrong with him. So, you know, a couple days, we started chopping it up. But I was a Christian in my heart. So he was like, yeah, this, that, and third. And I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. So I would go home and some stuff he would say, I'm going to ask my mom. Or I'm going to ask my mom. She'd be like, yeah, ask your grandma. So that's my grandma. My grandma be like, you know what? You know, they said wool and other stuff and all this other shit that's not what I wanted to know. Ask the preacher. Then I asked the preacher, and the preacher was like, what'd he say? I said, he said, who's the original man? He said, the original man's an Asian black man. He was like, yo, he may be right. And then with that, I was like, all right. And I just went back that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, man, tell me more what you know, bro.
Yeah.
And then so we just kind of took it from there. And I was still challenging him, but I knew I didn't have nobody in my hood that was, you know, come with something other than this. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing tougher than what he had. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, it was like, oh, all right, I need to really get into this to find out how authentic it is, or, you know what I'm saying? Get with the program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I just, you know?
Yeah. So what you call, I'm just asking because, you know, this is one of my things. I just want to, you know, see from in this day and age, you know, where the black man stands, because, you know, for me, it was writing the letter, you know, to get the X. That was, for me, what introduced me to the teachings, you know. But I just, at this point in 2020, want to know, you know, where the black man stands. Like, are you FOI, or, you know, what's your journey in that area? Or, you know, I just asking.
But I want to say, writing the letter was a beautiful thing for me. I mean, that was another form of, you know what I mean? That was beautiful. No question. It took me more than one try, too.
Yeah.
But one of the key got it on the first try. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway. Well, that being said,
it's a journey.
Right now, you know, I came up in the Nation of Islam. I was out there with the bean pies and you know, and bow ties. You know, out there, you know, like, you know, doing it that way.
Yeah.
And then
on the front line,
I got signed with Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? And I was out there with the 5%ers, but I was still, you know what I'm saying, holding my ground on my square. And then somewhere along there, I seen, damn, this is all is one is all, of course. You know what I'm saying? And then I really didn't, you know, fight too hard to tell them and go, you know what I mean? Because I just went, I knew I couldn't get bombed. Nobody could bomb me because I knew my lesson. They respected that. Yeah. So I knew I just went and just somehow to put it in my music. You know what I'm saying? And so by doing that, I kind of, you know, just came across, you know, the whole drug thing a little bit too much, trying to hang around and fit in, I feel. And then having babies like that. And then when I did what I did, you know, the key thing about it, it was something that I said, man, I'm off my square. I need to get back to my team. I need to study more. I need to get back, do what I came to do. Then I did what I did. It was like, oh my God. Then when I was in hospital, I realized this is what I came to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Be me, be Christ bearer. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. I'm actually Christ bearer. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm actually him. He is I and I is him. Because I know that my brother Snoop Dogg taught me being a star ain't about never falling. You know, it's about getting back. That's the part of success. You know what I'm saying? For real, you got to get back. It's what makes you a star. Like, people, you know, nobody got no story, no stars who never fail. That's fairy book shit. But the reality of it is, when you come back, like,
that's
you know
right.
That's right.
And, you know, when you come back like the Black Panther, that's another thing I want to drop a jewel on you. You know, Jesus' real name was what? Yahshua? But Yahshua Ben Panther. His last name was Panther. It was like Pandora, Pants or something. But his last name was Panther. And his, you know, his Joseph Panther was his real daddy, biological. You know, that Jesus, and he didn't really do the miracles. They put the 2 on the 10. But his last name was Panther. But ain't that something? Research that. You know what I mean? Facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Interesting. But what was talking about?
Back to the music.
Wednesday. They politicking, chopping it up. Got the Christ bearer in the building, North Star and all that.
Yeah.
So that's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, drop the jewels on him one time.
Hey, that's what
you get his little drinky drink on.
I know, right?
What you sipping on, man?
Cheers.
That's just some IPA.
Okay. That's what's up. Well, happy Woo Wednesday to you. We don't want to hold you up. Masu Casa, your Sukasa and all that. Thank you for coming. Please come back. You know what I'm saying? It's Wu, baby. It's Wu Wednesday.
Yo, shout out to all my Wu-Tang clan members, all my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. I love y'all. You know, we here. This is our Wu gear. We doing this. And also, don't forget, pick up that Polaris. Right now, available on all digital platforms. And that North Star Cuts also. And check out for that North Star Radio coming. And that Black Nights North Star the Black and Nights album. Peace.
That's what's up.
You hear it here first. Live Wire Radio, So Serious TV, North Star, Christ Bearer.
Yeah, you can catch this also on Pandora. We're going to rewind it back on Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora, Spotify, Tidal, Gazer.
Yep.
But check y'all out.
Yeah, we'll put the
y'all know be on that Pandora.
Wu Wednesday on Pandora. Go get that.
Let's go.
All right.
All right, man.
Yeah, y'all. That right there was Christ Bearer. Christ Bearer North Star. Now, don't you go nowhere. We'll be right back. I'm about to blast off.
Audio. Like, yo, so, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was real big.